Hey Carla, me again. Back with a really good recipe that I found actually yesterday morning. It's scallops in parchment packages. This is incredibly easy to do. Like, there's no skill involved whatsoever. It is very, very tasty. And I found this recipe from a cookbook I brought home from Mom's house this weekend. And I think you're really going to like this. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and I think your family's going to love this. So here we go. The ingredients we're going to use for today's recipe, obviously it's a scallop recipe, so we need scallops. So recipe calls for about a pound of scallops. This is actually a pound and a half because I love scallops, so I figured, treat myself. We're going to need some asparagus, fresh asparagus. Need a sweet red bell pepper. We're going to need some baby corn. So 1 can of baby corn. I'm going to cut these into halves later on. We're going to need some lemon juice. A little bit of chicken broth. A little bit of oil. Salt and pepper. And that's it in terms of the ingredients. So fairly simple. You're also going to need some parchment paper. Not wax paper, but parchment paper. If you can't find parchment paper, you can do this in aluminum foil. I prefer not to cook stuff in aluminum foil because aluminum is bad for your brain, and let's face it, my brain needs all the help it can get. So I'll stick with the parchment paper. So that's pretty much it. Need a little pan, and you're going to need a baking sheet to put the packets on once we get started. So that's it. So let's get started with this, and let's see what happens. So the first thing I need to do is deal with the asparagus. So I'm going to trim the tough ends off and then cut these into pieces. I'm going to get rid of these little bands here. We want to get the tough ends off of the asparagus. And what you do with asparagus, you take that end and that end, and if you bend it, it will naturally snap between the tough part that you don't want to eat, because that's like eating a pine tree, and the tender part. So we're going to do through that, and get that part squared away. Again, just snap it. Your tender parts will be left like that. Carla, I was telling you about our connection with the Vanderbilt house, or the Biltmore house, owned by the Vanderbilts, built by the Vanderbilts. My great-grandfather was a foreman, finished carpenter, when the Biltmore house was actually being built. It was my great-grandfather Bell. And he actually laid the floors in the Great Hallway. If you've ever been in the Great Hallway or seen pictures of it, the floor that's in there, my great-grandfather is the one who did that. So this one doesn't want to bend. There we go. That's one connection I have to the Biltmore house. It was my great-grandfather. And after the house was finished being built, he then became a driver for the Biltmore Dairy. So he would drive the dairy delivery truck for Biltmore Dairy after the house was finished being built. The Vanderbilts would have, at Christmas time, would have a party for the workers and families who worked there. And my grandfather, who was a small child at the time, said he remembered those events, and they'd have these parties and in the Great Hallway, and said Santa Claus would come out in the hallway and would pass out presents to the children. And my grandfather remembered as a small child receiving a present from Santa Claus at the Biltmore house. So that's another connection we have. And then the third connection we have, my grandfather's oldest sister, Aunt Vi, my great Aunt Vi, was married to Jim Gasquet, and he owned a exterminating company in Asheville, and he had the contract for the exterminating at the Biltmore house. And when he would go to the Biltmore house to do exterminating, Aunt Vi would go with him. And while he was doing the exterminating inside the house, which had to take a long time because that's a huge house, Aunt Vi would sit and have tea with Mrs. Vanderbilt. When I found that out, I thought that was like so cool, Aunt Vi having tea with Mrs. Vanderbilt. But I could see her doing that. She was such an elegant, prim and proper lady. I could definitely see Aunt Vi doing that. So anyway, we have those connections with the Biltmore house. So when we go up on vacation next month, we're going to go because I've never been there. I have never been to the Biltmore house. So we're going to change that. Check the place out and see my family's handiwork on that actual building. So looking forward to that. And almost done here. Again, you just take your asparagus, just snap, and it'll snap off between the tender part and the tough part. And we're good to go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these. Let me get this out of the way. We need some counter space here. Get rid of my scraps real quick. I need to cut these into about 2-inch pieces, basically. Like basically bite-sized portions. So we're going to cut these up. Put these in a bowl. Oh, by the way, this cutting board that I'm using, Carla, Dad made it. This is an RC Bell cutting board. When we were up at Mom's house this past weekend to kind of get some stuff cleared out, because we can't put the house up for sale till we get it cleared out, and there's still a lot of stuff. But this cutting board was there, and my brother asked me if I wanted it. I said, oh, yes, definitely. So I've got Dad's cutting board now. So I think that's awesome. Do that. And also picked up a couple of gadgets from Mom's Kitchen Drawers that I brought back with me. I think I told you about that last night when I texted you. I'll show you those in just a moment. Finish up with this asparagus. Okay. So let me get that out of the way real quick. Just to give you a better view, that's Dad's cutting board. You can tell it's an RC Bell thing because it's got the stripes of different colored woods in it. That's exactly something my dad would do. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, going through Mom's Kitchen Drawers, my brother's kids have pretty much gotten everything they want out of it, so whatever's left, somebody's got to take, or what doesn't get taken's gonna end up going in the trash. So I picked up a few things. One, I picked up this really sweet little whisk. I already have one, but it never hurts to have another one, so I grabbed that. This cute little funnel. Is that not the cutest thing you ever did see? So I can always use that. these bad boys right here, KitchenAid kitchen shears, and they are really, really sharp. I gotta be careful with these. I could cut something off I might need later. So I'll need adult supervision when I'm using those, because you know how klutzy I am. My favorite thing, however, this bad boy right here. Not something I'm going to use a whole lot, but I thought it was really cool, so I wanted to bring it home with me. I figure I can always use it as a weapon. You know, if somebody breaks into my house, I can tenderize them. So grab that. So anyway, some cool stuff from Mom's Kitchen. All right, red bell pepper next. We need to cut this into strips. So let me core it. Like that. Get seeds out. I want some thin strips. And kind of get rid of the white pithy stuff. Okay, and then we're just going to cut these into, again, about bite-sized pieces. Like that. Put those in the bowl with the asparagus. I'm going to continue that. Then I'm going to take the corn and I'm going to split that in half to basically just do like that. So again, bite-sized pieces. So I'm going to finish the pepper, the corn, and then we'll move on to our next step. Okay, in the pan, I've got maybe about a teaspoon or so of olive oil. That's heating up. We're going to take the veggies that we did, and we're just going to put them in here. Stir them around for a bit. Spoon out of here. Kind of get them cooking for a little bit. They're going to cook some more when we cook them in the oven. Also, preheat the oven to 400 degrees while we're doing this, so it'll be ready. Escaping asparagus. One thing about this recipe, if there's several things you can substitute here. If you don't like scallops, or you don't want to pay the price for scallops, because scallops are expensive. They were $16 a pound yesterday at Kroger. You could easily substitute jumbo shrimp for scallops. That'll work just fine. Also, if you don't like asparagus, and some people don't, I don't know why, I love asparagus, but some people don't like asparagus, you can easily substitute something else with it. Now I was trying to think last night about what you can substitute in here. I would probably do either some broccoli florets, or I think would be even better, instead of asparagus, would be some snow peas. I think snow peas would be awesome with this. In fact, next time I do this, I think I might use snow peas. Because they're a nice mild flavor, and I think that would be a perfect accompaniment to go with scallops. So again, any recipe you see, if there's something in it you don't like, just substitute it for something you do like, and make it your own. And that's going to be just fine. So again, you can substitute anything you don't like in here, substitute it with something else. It's going to be just fine. So I'm going to keep stirring this around for a few minutes, about 5 to 10 minutes. Then we're going to set this off to the side, and then we'll get busy with these scallops and the parchment paper. Alright, these have been going for about 10 minutes. I've turned the eye off. They smell good. We're just going to put those off to the side for a few minutes, and then we're going to start on the scallops. We'll mention I did put a little tiny sprinkle of garlic powder in here. I'd meant to put some fresh garlic, and guess who forgot to buy fresh garlic yesterday? This guy. I think I was so happy I actually found the scallops and the asparagus that I completely forgot about the garlic. Which is probably okay, because lately the garlic I've been seeing in the grocery stores has been awful. Like, just nasty looking stuff. So, probably better off that way. If you can find decent looking fresh garlic, go for it. So anyway, time to move on to the scallops. Alright, got my scallops out of the refrigerator. I've taken the parchment paper, and what I've done is basically just made big squares with them. And the packets are what we're going to actually put everything in to finish cooking in the oven. If I can manipulate this stuff. Okay, my squares aren't perfect, but that's okay. Not worried about that. Put those off to the side here. So, what we do get it to quit rolling up on me. We're going to take, we're making 4 packets, by the way. So I'm going to take about 1/4 of my vegetable mixture, put it in the center. Oh, the dog showed up. Hello, dog. I was wondering where you were. Alright, so I put those in the center, like such, and then scallops go on top. Put a lot of scallops because I love scallops, so that's why I got 1.5 pounds of scallops instead of just 1 pound. They will not go to waste, trust me. Scallops are probably my favorite seafood. Yeah, that'll probably work. All right. Now, next thing I got to do is a little bit of lemon juice. So let me add a knife. There it is. A little squeeze of lemon juice. Not much. Just a little spritz, basically, of the lemon juice, like such. A little bit of salt and pepper. Again, not much. A little bit of pepper. And the original recipe called for white wine. I'm not going to go buy a bottle of white wine. Just use a tiny little amount to go in this. So I'm using vegetable broth. And Carla, I don't think you would use white wine anyway. So I'm just going to use a little bit of vegetable broth. This is mainly just to add, I think, a little bit of moisture. Grab this bad boy right here. So just like small amount, and just kind of drizzle across. If you want to use white wine, go for it. Knock yourself out. It's okay. I'm not doing that. Now, here comes the fun part. We've got to make these into packets. This stuff is supposed to be able to crimp. I don't know if it's going to do that or not. If it doesn't, it's okay. I have a backup plan. So let's see what I can do here. Pull my edges up. No, let's do it this way. This will be easier. Yeah, let's do it that way. Okay. If you're using aluminum foil, it's going to crimp a whole lot better. This stuff's a little bit slippery. Let's see. Roll it down. Then I'll take my edges and fold them up. stay. Alright, pretty much like that. So there's one packet. This is going on a my sheet pan over here. And then you want to repeat the process for the other 3, and then that's going into the 400-degree oven. So let me do the other 3, and then we'll continue on. Alright, so got my 4 packets done. These are going into a 400-degree oven, about 10 to 15 minutes. Then we're ready to eat. Okay. Fresh out of the oven, finished product here. Smells really good. Let me dig into this. I gotta grab a scallop first. Hot stuff. That's really good. Scallops are cooked perfectly. Not overcooked. They're not rubber bandy. If you overcook scallops, they turn into rubber bands. These are perfect. Try some asparagus. Nicely done. This is fantastic. It's a very light flavor. It's light on spices and seasoning. It's not overpowering with stuff. So you can actually taste everything. Is my dog making an appearance? Hello, dog. And she's gone again. Again, this is a very versatile dish. If you don't want to use scallops, get you some jumbo shrimp and use those instead. It'll be fine. In fact, you asked me several months ago, Carla, if I had another shrimp recipe because you like my baked shrimp, my baked garlic shrimp recipe. This could be your new shrimp recipe. Use jumbo shrimp instead of scallops. Be fine. If you don't like scallops, or you don't want to pay $16 a pound for scallops, use shrimp. Be perfect. And again, if you don't like asparagus, substitute broccoli or snow peas. Be awesome. So this is delicious. I'm going to take this bowl with me to the living room, and I'm going to make a pig of myself. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you, Carla, and I will see you next time.